Introduction to The Third Circle by Frank Norris. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by David Wales. The Third Circle by Frank Norris. Introduction. It used to be my duty as sub-editor of the old San Francisco Wave to put the paper to bed. We were printing a Seattle edition in those days of the Alaskan gold rush, and the last form had to be locked up on Tuesday night, that we might reach the newsstands by Friday. Working short-handed, as all small weeklies do, we were everlastingly late with copy or illustrations or advertisements, and that Tuesday usually stretched itself out into Wednesday. Most often, indeed, the foreman and I pounded the last coin into place at 4 or 5 o'clock Wednesday morning and went home with the milk wagons, to rise at noon and start next week's paper going. For Yelton, most patient and cheerful of foremen, those Tuesday night sessions meant steady work. I, for my part, had only to confer with him now and then on a caption or to run over a late proof. In the heavy intervals of waiting, I killed time and gained instruction by reading the back files of the Wave, and especially that part of the files which preserved the early prentice work of Frank Norris. He was a hero to us all in those days, as he will ever remain a heroic memory, that unique product of our western soil, killed for some hidden purpose of the gods before the time of full blossom. He had gone East but a year since to publish the earliest in his succession of rugged, virile novels, Moran of the Lady Letty, McTeague, Blix, A Man's Woman, The Octopus, and The Pit. The East was just beginning to learn that he was great. We had known it long before. With a special interest, then, did I, his humble cub successor as sub-editor and sole staff writer, follow that prentice work of his from the period of his first brief sketches through the period of rough, brilliant short stories hewed out of our life in the Port of Adventures, to the period of that first serial which brought him into his own. It was a surpassing study of the novelist in the making. J. O'Hara Cosgrave, owner, editor, and burden-bearer of the Wave, was in his editing more an artist than a man of business. He loved good stuff. He could not bear to delete a distinctive piece of work just because the populace would not understand. Norris, then, had a free hand. Whatever his thought of that day, whatever he had seen with the eye of his flash or the eye of his imagination, he might write and print. You began to feel him in the files of the year 1895 by certain distinctive sketches and fragments. You traced his writing week by week until the sketches became little stories of the pavements. Then longer stories, one every week, even such stories as The Third Circle, Miracle Joyeux, and The House with the Blinds. Then finally a novel written feuilleton fashion week by week, Moran of the Lady Letty. A curious circumstance attended the publication of Moran in the Wave. I discovered it myself during those Tuesday night sessions over the files, and it illustrates how this work was done. He began it in the last weeks of 1897, turning it out and sending it straight to the printer as part of his daily stint. The main was blown up February 14, 1898. In the later chapters of Moran, he introduced the destruction of the main as an incident. It was this serial, brought to the attention of McClure's magazine, which finally drew Frank Norris East. The studio sketches of a great novelist, Gillette Burgess has called these ventures and fragments. Burgess and I, when the Wave finally died of too much merit, stole into the building by night and took away one set of old files. A harmless theft of sentiment, we told ourselves, for by moral right they belonged to us, the sole survivors in San Francisco of those who had helped make the Wave. And indeed, by this theft we saved them from the great fire of 1906. When we had them safe at home, we spent a night running over them, marveling again at those rough creations of blood and nerve which Norris had made out of that city which was the first love of his wakened intelligence, and in which, so woefully soon
Sample complete. Ready to continue?